My good friend Levi Berkovich, he just came back from Kerestir. He was by Reb Shayla this past Parashat Bishalach. And he tells me, he calls me tonight. He says, you gotta hear this Maisa. And he told me, he says, if anyone questions you on this story, you send them to me, Levi Berkovich. I'm going to tell him it was straight. I heard it from the guy himself. He says, I was there by Reb Shaila's house this past Shabbat. And he met a wonderful Jew from England. And he asked him, what are you doing here? He says, I'm here to say thank you. He says, what happened? He says, he got a letter from the IRS in England. I don't know what they call them, whoever they are. Let's just call them the IRS of England. The IRS of England sent this guy, this Yid, a letter that he owes $250,000 of taxes. And they add to the letter the whole din v'cheshbon of where they're coming from. It's $250,000. They're hitting me with $250,000 in taxes. How in the world am I going to get out of this? And he started reading up the whole thing, Gewalt, what they had on him. How am I going to get out of this? What do they want from me? How am I going to pay this? So he writes him back a letter. I don't know what you guys want from me. This whole thing is based on nothing. And he puts a picture of Reb Shaya in, in the envelope, and he sends it back to the IRS of England with his rebuttal. Picture of Shaya. He says 2 weeks later, he gets another letter. And the letter says, Mr. So-and-so, you owe us $250,000, and this is the reason why you're going to have to pay. He sends back a second time the same letter on his rebuttal. I don't know what you guys want from me. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I don't know you nothing. And he puts another picture of Reb Shaya inside. Reb Shaya ben Ramosha inside. And he sends it back to the IRS of England. The third time, they send him a letter. And the letter says, Mr. So-and-so, you owe us $250,000 of taxes. We understand from the fact that you kept sending us the pictures of your grandfather that probably just passed away, you must be grieving over the loss of your grandfather. So we're willing to settle for $5,000. He says, I'm here to say thank you. Sometimes we lean on the tzaddikim to give us that schus, that merit, that push, that I say to myself, now Hashem's going to help me. Now Hashem's going to save me. Now I'm unstoppable. Now I can be boteach 100% with nothing to fear, because the ikar of bitachon is the feeling that I'm in Hashem's hands and I am calm. Now I can feel that way, because I have the zechut of the tzaddik. I have the bracha of the tzaddik.